Mm-hmm. How you know I'm in the LGBT community?
You're not?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I'm just messing with you. What makes you think that?
You know what? I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
But no. Alright, so being in that community and being a rapper, have you like encountered any like judgment so far? Like that's like detrimental to you?
I mean, I feel like just as an artist, I encounter a lot of judgment. I think any artist does. You know, people have preconceived notions of who they think you might be based off of Instagram or Twitter or, you know, whatever the case may be. So I think, you know, in that sense, but I feel like as an LGBTQ artist, like I just don't really think about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think about making music, and so as far as people's judgments, it's not like something that's in my conscious a lot. So I would say no, it doesn't really, to me, I haven't faced any experiences of people where I felt like they were just completely closed off to me or my music because I was a part of that community. But I don't know, maybe so in their own mind, but you know, I feel like just in my experience and how I navigate the scene, it just, I feel normal. And
that's a great way to go about it.
Yeah.
When did you start taking rap serious and why?
Okay, I'll say I started taking rap serious. It really hasn't been, I've been making music for a long time, but as far as taking music seriously, as in seeing it as a career I could pursue, it's not been that long. I would say maybe when I was like, my first year out of college is when I was kind of like, okay, I've graduated, because I started making music like regularly when I was in college. I met somebody who had like a whole setup, and we started recording on a regular basis, and it was fun, and it became like something I was really passionate about. But then when I graduated, I didn't see myself like as a career artist. When I graduated college, I had like professional aspirations and so on and so forth. But after that, I kind of just was like, I'm just so passionate about music. I'm always writing, I'm always making stuff, and it's just like, it's something that I could never let go of. And so I would say around then is when I started to take it seriously, when I started to try to learn different aspects of the business, when I tried to, you know, just start networking with people, putting myself out there and putting more intention behind how I created and promoted myself. So I was like 21 at that time. I'm 26 now. So yeah.
Okay. So for as long as you been doing music, do you know like the in and outs now? Like, do you know how like to like master a record, like do produce it, make it beats and all that?
Mm-hmm. I don't make beats. That's like the one aspect of music that I just like. I have made beats. They sound like shit. They sound terrible, but I've made beats, and it's just not. It's something that I can see myself getting into, but I haven't made that a priority for myself. And in terms of understanding engineering, what I want to hear from myself, how I can play with the inflections of my voice and mixing and mastering, I've done all of that stuff myself. Now I work with a specific engineer, and he's been kind of like a real engine behind my sound for a while. But yes, I know how to engineer myself, and a lot of stuff that I have put out I have done myself for a long time. Before I could afford to go to a studio regularly, I did all of my stuff. I recorded and engineered and put out my own stuff.
Which track or like which moment in your career so far have you like recognized like your sound?
I'm still trying to pin that down, to be honest, because I have different sounds. If you really like listen and look at my discography, you can hear like on one song like a You Ain't Know or F It Up, I sound one way, and then I'll get on a song like Pro Tools or Ride For You, and it's like damn near a ballad. So like I'm still trying to find what I feel like is a solidified version of me, because I like to rap. You know what I mean? I really like to spit, but I also like to make melodic music. I like to sing. I like to, you know, write stuff that has a bit of a more R&B feel to it. But the project that I'm about to put out next, I feel like is a good mixture and compilation of both of those sounds. So I would describe my sound as just kind of like really hip hop rooted and bass, but still with that flexibility and, you know, just, I don't know another word for flexibility, but you know what I'm saying, to be able to do this, that, and the third. Yeah.
What's the biggest place you performed at?
I performed at Soundstage with Fizzles. We opened up for Rico Nasty. Performed at Afram. I was supposed to perform at Artscape, but that showcase got canceled. Oh, was it Nashville Pride I performed at? That was kind of cool. That might have been something. It wasn't big in terms of like it was thousands and thousands and thousands of people there, but for me, that was a big marker in my career, because that was a completely different region, and people that had like reached out to me to come perform, and then I got there and folks knew my music, and so I was like, that was probably one of the dopest moments. Even if it was one or two people, for me to have made something, and people like were talking about how my music it resonated with them. So I was like, yo, that's dope. That was a real happy moment for me.
How do you prepare to go on stage?
Oh, it depends. So I have also, like we talked about, mixing and mastering, engineering stuff. I will do my own performance, like production, I guess, or whatever that's called, however you want to put it. But I will put together like my own set. Okay. So that's a big part of my preparation, is me sitting down. A lot of times I'm with my friends. I've prepared and practiced with Jess a lot. J Rabbit with that. And just kind of like trying to figure out what is the energy or the vibe that I'm assuming to be of the event. So like I would do different songs for one event versus another based on like what is given, because I perform with people like Icon and like D Dave, but then I'll perform at like a wardrobe event with like singers. So just trying to think about the audience, think about what I'm trying to give, and just like what I want to do, and just practice in my room.
I've been on your IG.
Okay.
And I see that like it don't matter what if it's like a promo for a video, a song, just a regular picture. You got a fly fit.
Okay.
So
thanks.
Is this like you bring your flavor, your like your way of dressing to your career, to your forefront, or you got a stylist? Because if so, we need to know.
So I had a stylist at one point that helped me with a couple looks. Her name is Oh Boy RJ, I believe, on Instagram. Her name is Ronnie. That's my girl. But she changed her Instagram name so many times I can't keep up with it. Still, Oh Boy MH or RJ or what, but so she styled me for a couple shoots and like a few years ago when Marino website like first kicked off. But ever since she and I haven't worked together since then, I've been pretty much styling myself. But every once in a while, there will be like people that come aboard and help put together my looks. Like Golden Bird Boutique is a online boutique that I've modeled for in the past, and the owner of that boutique has helped me like put looks together. But for the most part, what you're seeing like on my recent Instagram, probably from everything this year up until like November of last year, is all of just my like looks, my closet. So
how do you go about choosing who to collab with on a song?
I don't know. It's just collabs for me have happened just like naturally through the relationships I've built in making music. So like if I'm making a song and I'm thinking, okay, I want a person on this, I'll think in my mind, okay, what do I want? What style of verse do I want on this? Do I want like somebody who gonna give me like bar for bar straight hip hop? Do I want somebody to sing? Do I want a female sound? Do I want a male sound? So the song is really the driving factor that will determine who I feel like is the best fit. But a lot of times it's just people that I know that make music that I like, and I'm like, yo, let's do this together. Or the same way, I just be on Instagram and I find somebody, run across them and really like their sound, and just reach out as professionally as possible and ask them to be a part of it.
What's your process to writing a song?
So the first thing, I do one of two things. I would say about 90% of the time, I just listen to a bunch of beats. I listen to just a whole bunch of beats, and whatever the beat provokes for me in terms of an emotion or a feeling is what will determine what the song is about. So I'll listen to a beat, and sometimes I'll just start freestyling, and then I'll freestyle maybe 4 or 5 bars and write it down, and then I'll stop, and then I'll run that back in my mind, and then add the next part, or it's a specific thing that I'm trying to say. And so if that's the case, then I think if that takes me a little bit more time, and I'm like, all right, let me sit down and really, how do I want to put this? Transparent is a good example of that. That's a recent song that I put out. And that just came from a real place. You know what I'm saying? From a real experience, trying to depict that in words in a way that I felt like was real for me, but in a way other people could receive and, just resonate with.
Okay, so this will go back to the song writing.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a beat,
yeah.
As far as like starting a song, you like better if you like just start freestyling, or like you just be like, all right, here's the beat, let me sit down and actually like write something to it.
So I don't consider myself a freestyle rapper. Like I can freestyle, but to me, when I freestyle, it's not my best shit. Like it's like, I just make up stuff and it's probably the stuff that means nothing, but it sounds like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But in the writing process, I will do a lot of freestyling, like, and that will guide my verse. But sometimes I do sit down and I'm like, okay, let me think about my cadence right here. So how many bars do I want to, like, how do I want the verse to play itself out? But it's hard for me to describe my writing process because I don't think about it when I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like one of those things that has become like almost so second nature at this point that it's like, you just get in a mode, in a zone, and you just do it. I feel really inspired when I'm around other creatives and other people who just like are in that space with you. But I also do a lot of writing, most of my writing when I'm alone. I write the best things when I'm alone.
What's the craziest thing a fan has done when they see you?
I don't know if I'm at this where people are doing crazy things. I think it's not crazy to me, but it always astounds me or makes me like, wow, like when people know stuff about me or like through my music that like I've never met them before. So like, when I went to Nashville, one of the people I met was talking about Unexpected and how they saw the video, and they was, with them and their girlfriend, they had the same thing and they met them in a bookstore, and it was this whole thing, and I was just like shocked that my creation, it like meant that much to them and that they had known it to that depth. When people notice, that's a thing, like, and maybe that doesn't happen in purpose, but when people notice like subliminals I put in work or like small details of things, I'm like, oh, you really paid attention, or like you really were into it, and that just is like dope. And nobody has like done anything crazy, but somebody asked me to see them off to prom before, and I was like, oh my god, you want me to come to see you off at, like, that was a big deal for them, so that was cool.
What do you do to like bring yourself back once like things even like in your environment or just like in your head are just going crazy?
I don't even know. What do I do to bring myself back? I can isolate, which is not always the best, but that's a real thing. Like, I will kind of just like retreat to my own space, and just kind of try to unplug from everything. I have good friends I'll talk to about certain things, like if I'm going through something. But I try to just allow myself now at this phase, to allow myself the time and just the space and the kindness to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all going through something. Don't be so hard on yourself, because I can be very self-critical. So just to bring myself back, I try to just chill. I smoke, listen to music, and then that also a lot of times drives me into creating. So it's good sometimes to be out of whack, because it has produced good music for me.
So far in your career, have you traveled a lot because of music?
I would not say traveled a lot because of music. I have traveled and injected myself into different communities of music. But like being booked in a whole bunch of different places, no, that hasn't happened for me yet. In some places I have, and in other states people have reached out to me and I've gone and done that, but not as consistently as I want. I'm not there yet.
Where have you been so far?
Like I said, I was in Nashville. I performed in New York before. I performed in D.C., performed in Philly. I'm trying to think, did I do a thing in Jersey? I got invited to perform in Jersey. Matter of fact, there's an email I need to respond to. I'm saying this aloud. But really, that's it for me. Like, the East Coast has been a lot of where I've performed.
What do you do for fun?
I am silly as hell. So I like spend a lot of time joking around. I like to go to like brunch, and I love amusement parks. I haven't been in a while, but I love to do that for fun. I spend time with my niece and my nephew. Just anything that's like a good vibe. I like going to cool events that just like good energy, good drinks. I like festivals, Broccoli Fest, coming up.
Cool.
Huh?
Cool.
Yes, I'm gonna go. Yes. But yeah, just good vibes, good people, good energy, just being out. I like to travel. I'm trying to travel a lot more than I have. But yeah.
If you could choose another profession, what would it be and why?
Well, I have another profession outside of music, and I am a program director right now for a nonprofit in Baltimore City. And for me, my other persona, or like for me, that is my other thing. And I don't know if those if I'll ever do music to the point where that is a non-factor for me. But yeah, my biggest passion outside of music is working to be an advocate for youth in Baltimore City. So I work a lot with kids, grades K through 8, and now I'm working with high school kids. So just being a influential and positive person in the lives of young people, and how that shows up in a job title for me is not important. But just being able to be a change maker and a voice at like the real table for the decisions that get made for those people is something I would love to do.
Yeah. All right. So last question.
Okay.
What is one question you're expecting to be asked in an interview, or that you would want to be asked in an interview?
I don't know. I try not to come into these things with expectations, because I feel like when I have expectations of what you're going to ask me, I'm anxious, and then I'm like trying to give you a certain, you know what I'm saying? And it's just not a thing. But I think most people, what they want to ask me is the question you already asked me is, are you a part of the LGBT community, or are you gay, or do you like boys? Or that is a question that is I always expect to come up in some is about my sexuality and how I identify and what that looks like. But you asked it.
Yeah. Alright, so if you ever had a chance to like do an interview, and then the interviewer was like, "Yeah, you gonna interview me?"
What would I ask?
Would you like go in? Because like I know
Yeah.
some people be like, "Oh yeah," because I was waiting for this.
Oh no, I wouldn't be like, "Yeah, now I'm gonna get you." Like I would just ask you questions. I would be like, "So what inspired you to create this show?" Or like, where are you from? Tell me about you. Like I would just try to make it conversational and talk to you, and I would do it, but it wouldn't be this big deal. What's good, y'all? It's your girl, Marino. I just wrapped up an interview with Orange Pop. You can follow me on all social media at Marino. That's at MANIMARINO. And my new single These Days is available now on all streaming platforms. Make sure you listen. You feel me?